There are 43 ships left in the Earth Union fleet. 43 vessels out of the 300 we started with when we first encountered the Karethi Dominion 11 years ago. Most are damaged. All are running on minimal crew. We're holding position above Erebos, the last colony world still broadcasting distress signals, and I'm sitting in the command chair of the EUS Meridian, wondering how many hours we have before this becomes a graveyard instead of a battle. My name is Commander Preet Askov. I used to be a fleet tactician. Now I'm just a man trying to buy time for people who probably won't make it anyway. The Meridian is a Vanguard-class cruiser, designed for fleet support and electronic warfare. She's taken 3 direct hits in the last engagement, lost her port weapon batteries, and her primary reactor is running at 60% capacity. Engineering tells me we have maybe one more jump in the FTL drive before it burns out completely. One jump, one chance to run. But we're not running, not yet. Below us, Erebos 4 is dying. The Karethi glassed the northern continent 2 days ago, turned cities into ash and civilians into vapor. The evacuation centers are overwhelmed. Civilian transports are launching every 15 minutes, cramming as many people as they can into cargo holds designed for freight, not families. We're covering their escape. That's the mission. That's all that's left. Lieutenant Sarah Kovar stands at tactical, monitoring the sensor grid. She's 26, been in the service for 3 years, seen more death than anyone her age should. Her hands are steady on the controls, but I can see the exhaustion in the set of her shoulders. We've been at general quarters for 18 hours. Coffee and stim packs only do so much. The sensor grid updates. Sarah doesn't look at me when she speaks. Doesn't need to. We both know what's coming. Contact, multiple signatures. Karethi battle group inbound. 6 destroyers, 4 cruisers, and the flagship, the Immolator. That's what our intelligence designated it, though the Karethi probably have some poetic name in their own language. 12 kilometers of weapons and armor powered by technology we still don't fully understand. It's fought in 8 major engagements, never been damaged, never been stopped. It's coming to finish what it started. I pull up the fleet status on my command display. 43 ships. Most are corvettes and frigates, fast attack vessels with minimal armor. We have 7 cruisers, including Meridian, 2 carriers with maybe 30 functional fighters between them, and 1 battleship that's held together more by hope than hull plating. Against a Karethi battle group, we should retreat. Should jump out, preserve what's left, fight another day. But there are still 300,000 people on Erebos 4. Still transports climbing out of the atmosphere, vulnerable and slow. If we jump now, the Karethi will cut them apart. We'll kill every person we came here to save. I open the fleet channel. My voice sounds tired even to my own ears. All ships, this is Meridian Actual. Enemy battle group inbound. Estimated arrival 20 minutes. Form defensive screen. Pattern Delta 7. Protect the evacuation corridor. Hold the line. Acknowledgements come back one by one. No questions, no protests. They all know what I'm asking, what I'm ordering. Hold against impossible odds so civilians can escape. Buy time with our lives. It's not a good plan, it's just the only one we have. Chief Engineer Marcus Thrain calls from the reactor room. His voice carries the accent of Mars, where he was born 43 years ago, before the Karethi burned it, before most of humanity became refugees. Commander, the reactor's running hot. If we push it much harder, we're looking at containment failure. I can give you weapons or engines, but not both. Not for long. I watch the tactical display, watch the Karethi signatures moving closer, watch our fleet arranging itself into formation, each ship finding its position like dancers in a choreography we've practiced too many times. Give me weapons. We're not running from this one. There's a pause. Then Marcus responds, his voice carrying understanding and resignation in equal measure. Aye, Commander. Weapons it is. The Karethi arrive like a storm. One moment the sensors show empty space. The next, 12 massive vessels drop out of FTL. their hulls reflecting the light of Erebos IV's sun. They're beautiful in a terrible way, all angular architecture and energy fields that shimmer like heat distortion. They were winning this war before we even knew it had started. Were burning colonies while Earth still debated whether to send diplomats or soldiers. Turns out it didn't matter. The Carethi don't negotiate, they expand, they consume, they erase. The Immolator moves to the center of their formation. Up close, it's even more massive than I remembered. The last time I saw it was at the Battle of Centauri Prime, where it destroyed an entire carrier group in 40 minutes. I was on the flagship's tactical staff, watched helplessly as the Immolator's plasma lances cut through our shields like they weren't there. I survived because I was in the secondary command center when the bridge took a direct hit. Survived while better people died. Sometimes I wonder if survival is a gift or a punishment. The Carethi begin their advance. Methodical, confident. They don't rush because they don't need to. Time is on their side. Superior firepower is on their side. Every tactical advantage is on their side. All we have is desperation, and the knowledge that behind us, transports full of civilians are still climbing toward orbit. All ships, weapons-free, engage at will. The battle begins with light. Railgun fire streaking across the void, each shot a line of tracer rounds moving at a fraction of light speed. Missile volleys launching in coordinated patterns, dozens of warheads trying to overwhelm enemy point defenses, energy weapons discharging in brilliant flashes, turning the space between fleets into a light show that would be beautiful if it wasn't deadly. Meridian shudders as our remaining weapon batteries open up. Magnetic accelerators hurling tungsten penetrators at the Carethi destroyers, plasma cannons cycling through their targeting sequences, point defense systems tracking incoming fire. The ship comes alive with violence, every system dedicated to killing the enemy before they kill us. The first casualty is the corvette Falcon. A Carethi plasma lance catches her amidships, the energy punching through armor and into her reactor core. She detonates in a flash of light bright enough to temporarily blind sensors. 37 crew, gone in an instant. The second is the frigate Perseus, breaking apart under sustained fire from 2 destroyers. The third is the corvette Nightshade, her engines overloading as she tries to evade. The fourth, fifth, sixth follow in quick succession. The Carethi are dismantling us with the efficiency of surgeons, each shot calculated, each kill precise. But we're buying time. Every second the Carethi spend killing us is a second the evacuation transports gain distance. Every ship we lose is a small eternity for the people trying to escape. The mathematics are brutal but simple. Our deaths for their survival. I would prefer a different equation, but we don't get to choose. Meridian takes a hit. The ship lurches sideways, artificial gravity failing for 3 seconds before backup systems engage. Alarms scream. Damage reports flood my console. Hull breach on deck 7, power conduits failing across the port side. Life support compromised in 3 sections. I seal the affected compartments remotely, hear the hatches slam shut, try not to think about whether anyone was still in there. Sarah calls out contacts. The Immolator is moving, advancing through our formation like it's taking a walk. Its shields absorb our fire without flickering. Its weapons tear through our ships like paper. It's not even focusing on us specifically, just killing everything in its path with the same dispassionate efficiency. Our battleship, the Defiant, attempts a close assault. Charges the Immolator head-on, firing every weapon, trying to overwhelm its shields through sheer volume of fire. For a moment, I think it might work. The Immolator's shields flicker, showing strain, energy discharges rippling across its hull. Then the Immolator fires its main weapon, a beam of energy so bright it whites out my display. When sensors clear, the Defiant is in 2 pieces, cut cleanly through the middle, both halves tumbling away, trailing debris and bodies. 800 crew on the Defiant. Most probably died instantly. The lucky ones anyway. Sarah's voice is flat. Clinical. Evacuation transports have cleared the engagement zone. They're jumping out. Last transport just went FTL. The mission is complete. The civilians escaped. Now it's just us and the Karethi and the cold mathematics of a battle we were never going to win. I could order a retreat. The ships with working FTL drives could jump out, preserve what's left of the fleet. Some would make it, maybe half, maybe less. Or we could do something else, something that won't change the outcome of the war, but might, for just a moment, hurt them. Make them remember this wasn't easy. Make them pay. I pull up the engineering readouts. Study the reactor status. The containment is stressed but holding. If we removed the safeties, pushed the reactor past critical, we could generate enough energy for one last action. One final gesture of defiance. Marcus must see what I'm looking at because his voice comes through immediately. Commander, if you're thinking what I think you're thinking, the reactor will go critical. No coming back from that. Ship, crew, everything. Will be a bomb. I know. How long do we have? If I pull the safeties now, 20 minutes, maybe 30. Hard to say. The reactor's already damaged. Could be faster. I look at the tactical display. At the immolator, still advancing, still killing. At our remaining ships, scattered and dying. At Erebos 4 below, scarred and burning. I think about Earth, wherever the surviving government is these days. About all the colonies we've lost, all the people we couldn't save, all the times we ran because staying meant death. Maybe it's time to stop running. I open a ship-wide channel. All hands, this is the commander. I'm evacuating non-essential personnel. Anyone who can reach an escape pod has 5 minutes. Get clear of the ship. That's an order. There's confusion in the responses, questions. I ignore them. 5 minutes. Anyone who stays does so by choice. I won't order them to die with me. Sarah turns from her console. Her eyes are steady. Commander, what are you planning? A collision course. We're going to ram the immolator, turn Meridian into a missile. The reactor explosion should be enough to breach their shields, maybe damage their hull. Might not destroy them, but it'll hurt. It'll show them we're still fighting. She considers this. Nods once. I'm staying. Lieutenant, I'm giving you a direct order to... Respectfully, Commander, you need someone on tactical. Someone needs to plot the course. Make sure we actually hit them. That's my job. I'm staying. Marcus's voice cuts in. Engineering staying too. Someone needs to manage the reactor, make sure it goes critical at the right moment. Can't trust that to automation. One by one, other voices come through. Weapons staying. Navigation staying. Medical staying. They all have reasons. All have jobs that need doing. Or maybe they're just tired of running, tired of losing, tired of watching the Karethi win. Maybe they just want to hurt the enemy one last time before the end. I count the responses. 43 people, more than I expected, less than I'd hoped. The escape pods start launching, small flares of light heading away from the battle, toward the outer system, toward whatever comes next for them. I watch them go and feel something close to relief. At least some will survive. At least we're not taking everyone with us. Marcus begins the reactor overload sequence. Warnings flash across my console as safeties disengage. The reactor temperature climbs. Energy output increases beyond design specifications. The ship starts to shudder, metal groaning under stress it was never meant to endure. We have maybe 20 minutes before it goes critical. 20 minutes to close with the immolator and make this count. Sarah plots the intercept course, feeds it to navigation. The course is elegant in its simplicity, a direct burn, full throttle, straight at the enemy flagship. No evasion, no deception, just defiance in its purest form. I open the fleet channel one last time. All ships, this is Meridian Actual. We're making a run at the immolator, ramming speed. Anyone who can jump out, do it now. Anyone who wants to join us, form up and follow. This is our last stand. Make it count. 4 ships respond. The cruiser Valiant, damaged but mobile. The frigates Sentinel and Striker, both running on emergency power. The corvette Last Light, already trailing plasma from a hull breach. 4 ships out of the 19 still capable of movement. The rest jump out, FTL drives flaring as they flee the system. I don't blame them. Survival is its own victory. But for us, survival stopped being an option somewhere along the way. Now, we're just choosing how to die. Meridian accelerates. The damaged engines scream in protest, pushing past their limits, burning fuel they don't have at rates that would terrify any sane engineer. Marcus is past sane now. We all are. The ship lurches forward, building speed, heading straight for the immolator like a bullet toward a target. The Karethi notice. Of course they do. The immolator begins tracking our approach, weapon systems powering up, calculating firing solutions. They're not worried. Not yet. We're just one damaged cruiser on a suicide run. They've seen it before, defeated it before. They'll fire on us soon, try to destroy us before we can close. But we're committed now. Velocity building, distance closing, the reactor climbing toward critical. There's no turning back. I think about Earth, about the colonies, about every person who died in this war because the Karethi decided we didn't have a right to exist. I think about my sister killed in the first wave of attacks. My parents evacuated to some refugee station I'll never see. All the friends and colleagues lost along the way. All the names I'll never get to say again. This won't bring them back, won't change anything. The war is lost. Humanity is scattered, broken, barely holding on. But maybe, for just a moment, we can show the Karethi what it costs to break us. Show them that humans don't go quietly. That even in defeat, even in death, we'll fight. We'll hurt them. We'll make them remember. The immolator opens fire. Plasma lances cut across the distance, each one powerful enough to vaporize a small ship. One catches the Valiant, and she disappears in an explosion of light and debris. The Sentinel takes a hit that tears away her engines, sends her spinning off course. The Striker and Last Light keep coming, keep following us toward the enemy, toward death, toward meaning. Meridian takes hit after hit. Each one tears through already damaged armor. Each one brings us closer to structural failure. But we're close now. So close. The immolator fills our viewports, massive and terrible and beautiful. I can see details on its hull, weapon ports and shield emitters, and the angular architecture of a civilization that conquered stars while we were still learning to make fire. Marcus calls from engineering. Reactors at critical. We've got maybe 60 seconds. Commander, if you've got any last words, now's the time. I pull up the communications system, set it to broadcast on all frequencies. Open channel. Let the Karethi hear this. Let them know why we're doing this. Let them understand what they're fighting. This is Commander Preet Askov of the Earth Union Fleet. To whoever finds this recording, human or otherwise, know that the Meridian died fighting. We died because we chose to, because running wasn't enough anymore. Because we needed to show them that humanity doesn't kneel, doesn't submit, doesn't accept defeat quietly. The Karethi think they've won. Maybe they have. They've taken our colonies, killed our people, broken our fleet. But they'll never break what makes us human. Our capacity to fight for something beyond survival. Our willingness to die for each other, for principles, for the simple defiant act of saying no. They think we're weak because we're fragile. Because we die easily, because we lose. But they're wrong. Strength isn't about winning. It's about choosing to fight even when you know you'll lose. It's about standing up one more time even when you're broken. It's about burning bright in the darkness, even if you're the last light left. I pause. Look at the immolator on our viewports. At the distance closing. At the inevitable end rushing toward us at combat speed. If this is how humanity ends, let the universe remember, we did not kneel. Marcus counts down. 30 seconds. 20. 10. The reactor reaches terminal cascade. Containment begins to fail. Energy starts bleeding into the ship's systems, overloading everything, turning Meridian into a bomb wrapped in metal and desperation. Sarah calls out final distance: 500 meters, 400, 300. The immolator fills our entire view now, nothing but alien metal and technology and the absolute certainty of mutual destruction. 200 meters, 100. Impact. The reactor detonates. Meridian becomes light and heat and energy, a miniature star blooming in the void. The explosion tears through our hull, through the immolator's shields, through their armor, through everything. For one brief, brilliant moment, we're the brightest thing in the system, brighter than suns, brighter than hope. Then nothing, silence, darkness, the end. 300 years later, a Carethi survey ship enters the Erebos system. They're conducting archaeological research, documenting the remnants of extinct species, cataloging what was lost when the Dominion expanded into this sector. It's academic work, historical curiosity. The Carethi won this war so long ago that most have forgotten humans ever existed. Scholar Captain Thelkar oversees the survey team. She's young for a captain, only 2 centuries old, specializing in the study of failed civilizations. Humans are particularly interesting to her because they fought so fiercely despite having no chance of victory. Most species the Dominion encountered either surrendered or were quickly overwhelmed. Humans did neither. They just kept fighting, kept dying, kept refusing to accept the inevitable. The survey ship approaches the debris field above Erebos 4. 3 centuries of orbital mechanics have spread the wreckage across thousands of kilometers, but it's still identifiable, still marked by the violence of its creation. Thelkar's team begins scanning, cataloging, reconstructing what happened here. They find the immolator's remains first, the flagship that won so many battles, destroyed in an instant by a kamikaze attack. Thelkar has read the official reports, knows the immolator was damaged but not destroyed, knows it limped back to Dominion space, was repaired, served for another 20 years before being decommissioned. But the damage was unprecedented. A single human cruiser had done what entire fleets could not. They find pieces of other ships too. Human and Carethi mixed together, unified in destruction. The survey team recovers a data core from what might have been the Meridian. It's damaged, barely functional, but Thelkar's technicians manage to extract a fragment of audio, a recording, a human voice speaking in their primitive language. The translation systems struggle with the archaic dialect, but eventually produce readable text. Thelkar reads it in her quarters, alone, while her ship orbits the dead world below. Reads about Commander Preet Askov and his final message. About humanity's refusal to kneel. About choosing to die rather than accept defeat. She sits in silence for a long time afterward, processing what she's read, trying to understand what would drive a species to such extremes. The Carethi don't think like that. Don't understand the concept of dying for principles rather than survival. It's illogical, wasteful, inefficient, but it's also something else. Something Thelkar struggles to articulate. The humans lost, were driven to extinction, achieved nothing with their sacrifice except a few more minutes of defiance. Yet, reading Askov's words, hearing the conviction in his voice, she feels something unexpected. Not admiration, exactly, not respect, something closer to recognition. The humans fought not because they could win, but because not fighting was unacceptable to what they were. Their species' identity was built on resistance, on defiance, on the stubborn refusal to accept that their brief, fragile lives didn't matter. They died protecting that identity. Died proving they'd existed. Died making sure the universe would remember them. And here, 3 centuries later, a Carethi scholar is remembering, is studying their final stand, is trying to understand what drove them. In that sense, perhaps the humans achieved something after all. Perhaps Askov's message reached its audience, just not the audience he expected. Thelkar compiles her report, describes the battle, the tactics, the final desperate collision, includes Askov's recording, recommends it be preserved in the Dominion archives, classified as culturally significant despite coming from an extinct species, because sometimes the defeated have something to teach the victorious. Sometimes the extinct species shows the living what they've lost. That night, as her ship prepares to leave the Erebos system, Thelkar stands at the viewport and looks down at the scarred planet below. Thinks about the humans who died here, about Askov and his crew choosing to die rather than retreat, about what that choice meant to them, what it cost, what it proved. The Karethi Dominion endures, has endured for millennia, will probably endure for millennia more. They won this war, and hundreds like it. They're efficient, methodical, unstoppable. They survive. But do they live? Do they burn bright even for a moment? Do they choose meaning over survival? Or have they optimized existence into something that lasts forever, but means nothing? Thelkar doesn't have answers, just questions that will follow her for the rest of her very long life. Questions planted by a dead human's final words. Questions about what it means to truly live, even if living means dying. The survey ship jumps to FTL, leaving the Erebos system behind, leaving the graveyard, leaving the ghosts. But Thelkar carries something with her. Askov's message, recorded in her files. Human defiance, preserved in data. The memory of a species that chose to burn rather than fade. And sometimes, late in her shift, when she's alone with her thoughts and her doubts, she plays the recording again. Listens to a dead man's voice. Hears his conviction, his certainty, his absolute refusal to kneel. If this is how humanity ends, let the universe remember, we did not kneel. The humans are gone. Lost to time and conquest and the cold mathematics of war. But their final act echoes across centuries, echoes in the mind of one alien scholar who can't stop thinking about what she found in the ruins, who can't stop wondering if maybe, just maybe, the humans understood something about existence that the Karethi forgot millennia ago. That to live isn't just to endure, it's to burn, to choose, to defy, to matter, even if mattering costs everything. The Karethi won the war, but humanity won something else, something that can't be destroyed with weapons or erased with time. They won the right to be remembered, not as victims, not as the defeated, but as beings who chose how their story ended, who burned their own sky to prove they'd existed, who refused even in extinction to kneel, and perhaps that's victory enough.